Hi, everyone. It's Reverend Lauri with Unity of Ocala. My Zoom's acting a little funny today. It's been a strange day, so we'll see what happens with this recording, but I'm going to go forward with it anyway. This is our weekly love notes for what will be for you tomorrow, Wednesday, July 7th. But I'm recording this on the Tuesday prior in this time of impending rainstorms. We've got tropical storm Elsa bearing down on Florida. It is not a hurricane, so I'm not as nervous as I normally would be. I've been in Florida almost 40 years now, so we've weathered many of these storms, and they are getting increasingly dangerous. So it gets even more strange than even before during this time. And you can sense, even before you leave the house and go uptown, you can sense this feeling of unease and a strange energy kind of just hanging in the air. It's eerie. You know what I mean? It's calm right now, but cloudy. There's every now and then a slight movement with the trees. I hear no birds. I see no animals out on the water. It's like everybody but the humans pretty much know how this is going to play out, and they're just taking appropriate action. When I experience storms, especially these in Florida, which are so different than the storms we got in Colorado. Colorado, the worst storms we would get were the snowstorms and the blizzards, and those are awful and treacherous. But hurricanes are a different animal. And it's really been an interesting journey to experience the wrath of Mother Nature's power in the wind combined with water in an amazing spinning effect. It's just extraordinary. And I always think about when we were in ministerial school, me and my classmates, and this whole week was all about metaphysical interpretation of the Bible, which is my favorite subject. But we were all assigned at the beginning of the week one of the Old Testament Bible stories to metaphysically interpret. And I was given, I didn't choose it, I was given Noah's Ark. I love the story of Noah's Ark. It's very deep. It's very rich. It's layers and layers and layers and layers of metaphysical meaning. And I thought, this is a year's worth of study for this one chapter in the book of Genesis. 1 year study at least. What in the world am I going to do? I have these other subjects, and I wanted to do it justice, but I also didn't want to just scan the surface. I wanted to really dig. That's the way I kind of do things. I overthink them to cerebral. I was back in my room, my little dorm room. On my desk, I had a stack of metaphysical reference material that I had checked out at one of the best metaphysical libraries on the planet, Unity Village, and the archives. So I've got talks of Charles and Myrtles, I've got his dictionary, I've got Bible references, Bible understanding, Bible interpretations, Greek metaphors, Latin metaphors, Hebrew language. I mean, I'm just like overwhelmed. And I was getting so frustrated. I was just getting so frustrated. And I just went to sleep with that thought on my mind of Noah's Ark. Well, this was late at night, and I had to get up early if I wanted to get some breakfast before classes started. And I wanted to get started on this because we were going to have discussions about it. And that was the first class. And I just dozed off. I was so exhausted. And I was awoken by a turbulent rainstorm in the middle of the night in that little dorm. And you know, Florida has hurricanes. Kansas and Missouri have tornadoes, and they have sirens that blast when they're in the area. And the sirens were going off. And my girlfriends and roomies and I were just freaking out. And finally, I just said, you know, we're going to be okay. We don't need to go into the tunnels. They've got tunnels from the dorms to underneath the presses. It's crazy out there. We're going to be okay. Things were dying down. I went back to my room. I wanted to cram, but I was exhausted. I fell asleep. I fell asleep again. to the noise of that storm. And in a weird way, it was kind of soothing. And I was in this kind of meditative trance-like dream, when you're so tired and you think you're sleeping, but you're also dreaming, but you don't, they're just kind of jumbled up. That's kind of how I was. It had been such an incredible few weeks out there. And I remember thinking about Noah's Ark from a child's point of view. And I remember my Sunday school class and seeing the Ark, seeing it as such a safe place, such a safe harbor. And it dawned on me, that's Noah's Ark. That's that place, that sacred, safe temple I climb into whenever the storms rage around me, whenever I am frightened or don't know what to do or overwhelmed or too full. I climb into that inner sanctuary, that inner place where God is, and I am comforted. I am rocked and lulled to sleep while the storm rages around me. And I woke up more fuller. I poured myself a cup of hot tea and I started drawing in my sketchbook with my colored pencils. And I drew a storm and an arc and it getting thrashed around and the lightning and the black clouds. And on the next page, I drew with my pencils a calm sea and a rainbow and the sun and a dove with an olive branch. Land is near, firm ground, steady is near. And that was such a beautiful moment for me. And I used that sketch for my story. I thought, I don't know, I may fail this class. I'm exhausted. I don't even want to write about it. My brain does not want to even go there. And I turned that in. And he talked about that during class. Our teacher, he said, this is the Ark of God. No words needed. I was so happy that I didn't let myself and my ego and my brain get in the way of what I was feeling. I had another experience with the Ark. When we moved to Florida, we took a cruise after we'd been here a few years. That's kind of the thing you try in Florida. And it was really fun. I don't know if I'd ever take another one, but we took a cruise to Central America to see the some of the Mayan pyramids, to be in the Belize and Guatemala area. And I was a little frightened to go across all that ocean in a boat that far. I'd flown over it. That was pretty interesting for me. Girl from the mountains, never east of Colorado in her life. But to take a big boat out there, I was a little bit worried. And we got on the boat in Tampa and we're to go to the Keys. And I'm really excited about that part. And then the trek over to Central America. There was a horrible, horrible storm from Tampa Bay to Key West during the night. We left at like 10 p.m. and arrived at Key West in our own sweet darn time, hours later. My husband slept through the entire storm. The boat was like this. And we had a room that had a little porthole, and the water was hitting that porthole. And I have got my pillow and I'm watching it, and he is snoring. And I'm like, oh, we're going to drown. Are you like even experiencing what I'm experiencing? You are sleeping? I think I'm going to go on the upper deck and just ride this out. But I didn't dare leave my cabin. That's how full of myself I was. And I went into prayer and I was just like, okay, God, you've got this. I have got to let go or I'm going to have a nervous breakdown before we get to Key West. And I would like to have some fun. And you know what came to my mind? When I was in ministerial school and the storm was raging and I was on unsteady ground and I didn't know where I was going or what I was going to do or how I was going to finish that. And I calmed right down. I went into that ark. I went into that place of God. I was able to find peace. And I just kind of let those waves rock me back to sleep. It doesn't work every time, but it's a resource we have. It's our third unity principle. We believe in the power of prayer and meditation, of going within, of calming yourself and being in the present. Because what happens when we get fearful, we jump to the future. What if a wave crashes and topples us? What if we run into something? What if? What if? That's the future. But I remember when. That's the past. Right here. My husband's snoring, so something in him is okay. Nobody is blaring sirens to make us go into tunnels or parachute us out or cram us into lifeboats. There's no icebergs in the ocean in Key West. Calm down, Lauri. It's going to be all right. And those moments with God are pearls to me. That's what I'm going to think about in these next coming up days. I already got groceries for my mom, got everything secured here, got enough food to last for several storms, because that's what I do. I don't know why. But I think of this poem when I think of the times I spend in the Ark. This is by Myrtle Fillmore, and it's one of my all-time favorites and one of all Unity Ministers' all-time favorites. It's just a jewel. So enjoy it and take it with you during this storm as you climb into your Ark or your quilt, get your tea, and be in the present. Experience nature. My Love to Thee by Myrtle Fillmore, adapted from the Rosary, by the way. The hours I've spent with Thee, dear Lord, are pearls of priceless worth to me. My soul, my being, merge in sweet accord, in love for Thee, in love for Thee. Each hour a pearl, each pearl a prayer, binding Thy presence close to me. I only know that Thou art there, and I am lost in Thee. O glorious joys that thrill and bless, O vision sweet of love divine, my soul its rapturous bliss can ill express, that Thou art mine, O Lord, that Thou art mine. God is yours and mine and ours. Be safe, keep dry, hold a candle for all those affected right now as the storm moves in. I love you. I will see you Sunday as we deepen our understanding of the power of divine understanding. And we begin our unity discussions after service with the story of unity. See you then. I love you. Bye-bye.